if they already have substantial RRSPs, why should they care about TFSAs?
Retirement planning isn't just about accumulating or saving, building up your assets. It's about creating.
What common mistakes do you see people making with their TFSAs in retirement planning?
One of the most powerful tools we have in a retirement planning toolkit is actually. Hello and welcome to another episode of Your Retirement Plan Simplified. I am Joe Curry, along with my co-host, as always, Lindsay Wilson. How's it going, Lindsay?
I'm good, Joe. I just wanted to let listeners know about an upcoming opportunity to take a course with Joe, a one-day workshop at Trent University in March. It's Retirement Planning Decoded, all the essentials in one course, and Joe's going to give you everything you need to start thinking about and planning your retirement.
Yeah, so we just finished, we did a part 1 and part 2, kind of a nighttime workshop. And so this one will be kind of combining all of that for the most part. It's going to be really similar, but we're jamming it all into a few hours on a weekend in March. So
on a Saturday morning, yes.
Yes. So,
and just for listeners who might be farther afield, it is in person. Unfortunately, this year we weren't able to offer a Zoom option, but we're working on it.
And then also for any of our local listeners, I think Lindsay's going to be joining me there. So you get to meet Lindsay in person too if you're there.
Yep. We'll both be there. That's right. Yeah.
Awesome.
So today we're looking at a strategy that could be a game changer for your retirement income, TFSAs. So our listeners with significant savings often ask, where do TFSAs fit into their retirement puzzle? So where do they fit?
Yeah. So it's a really good question. And I mentioned this before, but I think one of the things that many Canadians think about their tax-free savings account is that it's just a savings account, but it's really actually one of the most powerful tools we have in a retirement planning toolkit because of their incredible flexibility, right? So any investment growth, interest, dividends inside a tax-free savings account is completely tax-free, not just tax-deferred like an RSP where you end up paying tax when you take it out, right? So it's incredibly powerful, and we don't want to mistake this with a savings account.
Yeah. So let's break this down for our listeners. How should they be thinking about TFSAs as part of their retirement income strategy?
Yeah. So it's another piece of the puzzle for creating your retirement income stream once you get to retirement, right? So we can think of it like conducting an orchestra. We might have your tax-free savings account, your RSP, maybe you have non-registered account. If you're a business owner, you might even have corporate investments, right? Or maybe you have rental real estate. So we have these different sources that you can draw on in retirement. And we want to make sure they're all working together because each of them plays their own unique part in your retirement income planning. And so that's really where you can have some real impact with actually doing planning rather than just kind of unintentionally drawing money when it comes to your retirement, right? Because when we're saving, it's pretty simple. We just, automatically put money into our RSP probably first, then our TFSA. And we fill all that, and maybe we put it to non-registered. But when we're taking all that out, we really want to be intentional about where it's coming from. So with the tax-free savings account, you can withdraw money whenever you need it without triggering any clawbacks on government benefits like Social Security or bumping into the next tax bracket.
That sounds powerful, but I know many of our listeners are wondering if they already have substantial RRSPs, why should they care about TFSAs?
Yeah, so this is where planning really is important, right? So many of our clients and probably many listeners discover that their RSPs, which were a fantastic tax saving vehicle during their working years, can actually create some tax headaches in retirement. So when you're forced to convert your RSP to a RIF at 71 and then start taking the RIF minimum at 72, those mandatory withdrawals, they can push you into a higher tax bracket. They could trigger old age security clawback. So they could create some issues, right? And again, they were really great savers, but they're not the only tool we have. And if we can use these other tax-free opportunities, then we might as well see how that fits into the larger puzzle.
So just to expand, how does a TFSA help with that?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest things is it gives you a lot of flexibility on how you take your income, whether you pay tax or not, right? So let's say you need $60,000 in this specific year because you have something big planned, big trip, something like that, right? So if you were to take all that money out of your RSP or your RIF, you might push yourself into like a significantly higher tax bracket, and you might need a lot more than a $60,000 withdrawal to actually get that money into your hands. But if we built up your tax-free savings account, we could pull money from there, keeping you in that lower tax bracket while still funding your goals. And actually, now when I think about this, I'll give you a kind of a real life example. So we have a client, and we'll call them Bob and Sue, and they needed a new vehicle. So they were purchasing a vehicle that was a year old. So financing wasn't really an option. Like sometimes we will look at financing, but it wasn't really an option because financing a new vehicle, like the interest rates are just too high. So that was out. When we first started working with this couple, they didn't have any money in their tax-free savings account, but they had accumulated some pretty substantial retirement assets or registered retirement assets, right? And so through a number of years, what we've been doing is we have been strategically shifting money from the RSP over to the tax-free savings accounts. Careful not to affect any government benefits or make any significant difference in their marginal tax rate. And so now we're seeing the benefit of that planning, because when they needed that money, which was equal to an entire year's worth of their typical withdrawals, we were able to get that to them without them having to pay any tax, no old age security clawback, not bumping up to a new tax bracket. None of that happened because of this early planning to put them in that position to have that flexibility. And so now what we'll do is we'll slowly start to replenish those TFSAs, probably by taking a little bit of extra money out of their RIFs to get it over that tax-free vehicle.
So, Joe, let's pause for a moment and break down the numbers for our listeners. Can you walk us through another example where you're using TFSAs to manage annual income totals?
Sure. So we'll take a typical client situation. So to keep it simple, we'll say she's single. Her name's Sarah. She's 65. She has $1 million in a RIF. So she's done a really good job saving into RSPs through her working years. She's also been fortunate enough to be able to contribute to her tax-free savings accounts. She's made some good investment decisions there. So she has $200,000 in her TFSA. And she receives a combined $40,000 from some other income sources. So from her CPP, old age security, and defined benefit pension plan combined. So that's all taxable income. So if she needs $100,000 for her expenses, or we need to get her $100,000 of income. And I'm talking high level here as I'm thinking about this, Lindsay, because there's going to be, obviously there's some taxes involved, but the point I'm trying to illustrate is that we might just take $50,000 from her RIF rather than taking the extra $60,000 from her RIF, because taking that additional money there could push her into old age security clawback, will push her into a higher tax bracket. So instead, we'll take the additional $10,000 she needs from her tax-free savings account, and that keeps her below that threshold for old age security, clawback, and the next tax bracket.
So what about the contribution room? I know that's a common question for listeners.
Sure. So in 2025, the lifetime contribution for tax-free savings accounts is actually $102,000. So it's hard to believe we've crossed that threshold. So for couples, that means that there's a combined $204,000 of contribution room, right? And plus, unlike RSPs, you don't lose that contribution room when you make a withdrawal. So if you've maxed it out, you've got some growth, you take a withdrawal out of there. Well, if you have money to put back into it next year, you get all that contribution room back. So whatever you had withdrawn plus the next year's contribution, so you don't lose it. So yeah, it's a really powerful tool in that sense that it can give you that flexibility, and again, you can just replenish it.
So let's just talk about estate planning benefits. How do TFSAs fit into that picture?
Yeah, so this is one of my favorite features, Lindsay. The tax-free savings accounts, it can be a powerful estate planning tool, because when you pass away, anything that's in your RSP or your RIF, if you're single or you're the surviving spouse, is generally fully taxable in your final years. So that could be like 50% of the value of those accounts going to the CRA, right? So that's pretty significant. But if you've left your money in tax-free savings accounts, those assets pass tax-free to your beneficiaries. Plus, if you do have a spouse who survives you, if you name them a successor holder, they simply take over your tax-free savings account. So if you've maxed it out and grown it and you have $200,000 invested inside your tax-free savings account, your surviving spouse they take that over without it affecting their own contribution room.
So what common mistakes do you see people making with their TFSAs in retirement planning?
Yeah, so this brings us back to the start of our conversation, I think, Lindsay. And the biggest mistake is I see people treating their tax-free savings accounts like short-term savings rather than the long-term, like a long-term retirement tool. So many people just have cash, like high interest savings, or maybe GICs, but they're missing out on some long-term growth potential, right? Another common mistake is withdrawing from TFSAs first and leaving everything in your RSPs untouched until you're forced to take it out at 71. And I should mention that that's, sometimes that can be a good idea for maximizing your lifetime spending, but it can also cost you thousands or even hundreds of thousands of unnecessary taxes later on in other scenarios. So this is, again, where planning really is important because it's going to depend on your situation and what is optimal.
So what's your recommended strategy for our listeners?
Yeah. So first, if you're still working and you have both RSP and tax-free savings account contribution room, consider whether you're in a higher tax bracket today than you expect to be in retirement. And if so, you probably want to prioritize RSP contributions first, but don't ignore your TFSA. I mean, if you can, and we mentioned this, I think, all the time, but in a perfect world, you can maximize both of those, right? Second, don't mistake your TFSA for a savings account. Take advantage of the tax-free growth to invest in long-term type investments there so that, again, that growth, dividends, interest, you're not paying any tax on it. And finally, make sure you develop a coordinated withdrawal strategy across all your accounts, not just your RIFs, but your RIFs, your tax-free savings accounts, your non-registered accounts, right? And that might mean taking some RIF withdrawals earlier than you had planned to smooth out your lifetime tax bill. And you can supplement that with tax-free savings account withdrawals, or maybe you're able to contribute to your tax-free savings accounts during that time.
So any final thoughts or actions for our listeners?
Yeah, so I think the big thing here is, again, the TFSA is an important tool that should be integrated into your planning. And retirement planning isn't just about accumulating or saving, building up your assets, right? Or an investment plan. It's about creating tax-efficient income streams in retirement. And the TFSA is definitely a tool that helps you do that.
So just for our listeners, if you'd like to learn more about integrating TFSAs into your retirement strategy, you can, of course, visit us at www.retirementplanning.ca.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Here we go.